Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to teach you how to repair the very common problem people have with 3M 3-slot or 6-slot battery chargers. And the problem is that when you put in your batteries, like push it in, the lights don't come on, it doesn't charge because these metallic plates that are supposed to hit the battery are bent inwards and they do not make a good contact with the battery terminals. So even though you could initially start with using a Q-tip and alcohol, cleaning it, that is rubbing alcohol by the way, you don't want to put whiskey on the Q-tip. So you want to use a Q-tip and the rubbing alcohol to clean it up, and if you still don't get any success, you still put in your battery and it still doesn't charge. This is what you need to do. So the first thing you need to do is you need to open these 4 screws. Now there's something really tricky about these screws that you need to realize. That is that if you open them suddenly with a lot of force, you will actually break the plastic stud to which the screw is attached. So you have to do it very gently and slowly. And how I do that is I'm using a electric screwdriver, but I'm going to give the initial twist manually. Let's put this a little higher. Okay, so give it initial twist manually, and then you could use the screwdriver. Wow, it's really tight screw. Make sure you have the right tip. There you go. This one is out. Let's go to this one. This one is out. Third one is out. Again, loosen it. Okay, all 4 are out. Now you have to gently lift this up, gently. Set it aside and watch the red cable on both ends. Usually the red cable goes to pin 1, usually. Now that's not the case here. The red cable does not go to pin 1 because pin 1 is on this side. So that's why what I usually do is I mark it. I take a little marker and I mark where the cable, the red pin should be. This way I don't have to worry. Okay, so I mark that. Now, by the way, as you notice, the color changed to green. It used to be gray because I had the chroma key on, so that's why. All right, so now what you need to do is you need to unplug this and set it aside. Your business is not with that piece. Your business is here, and that's where you will be working. Now what you need to do is open 4 screws. You see those 4 screws? You need to open them. Okay, now that you opened the 4 screws, if you try to take this up like this, take it out like this, it doesn't come out because all those pins are actually heading against this and it's basically not coming out. See that? It's not coming out. So the solution is, see, one edge has a little extension. That edge needs to be left up first. Watch. And it easily comes out. That edge with the extension needs to be left up first. So basically, if you left it straight, all these metallic thingies will hit this and it will not come out. But if you twist it slightly this way, it will come out. I'm going to show you from an angle. So that's how this was right there, right? If you push it straight, these will hit. If you do it this way, slightly, and then take it out, it will. Okay? All right. So now what we need to do, we need to bend these slightly, not a lot because they will break. You have to bend it slightly forward, like a little bit. I'm going to do one pin so you could see how much bending is necessary. That's how much you need to bend. You do that to all of them. Like that. Slightly, slightly, and so on. Same on the third row. And there you go. All are bent forward. Okay? Now you put this back. Again, it doesn't go in easily unless you do it this way. So you now, because these are bent forward, so it's a little harder to push it in because they're actually under tension right now. I mean, they're actually more pushed forward, so when you push it down, they resist because they have to bend in order to let this seat, let this go down and be seated. See? Okay. Now, so we're going to do sideways. But remember, as I said, make sure to clean it with alcohol. So I'm going to use a little bit of alcohol to clean it. That's a little alcohol. The terminals will be cleaned with isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol. There you go. Now I'm going to put it back in place, fold it this way a little bit, and seat it. So you have to do very carefully, very, very carefully. And there it is, seated. And as you can see, all the plates are much more forward. They will hit the battery with a lot more force than it would before. Now we need to put all these screws back. You want to put all the screws back. The drill settings should be lower to like maybe 3, because these are very tiny screws. Now each drill is different. I'm using a DeWalt 12-volt drill, so on some drills even the first setting is fine because they're very heavy duty. For example, if you're using this drill, this is a Makita 20-volt, you have to use number 1. Okay? All right. So let's do this. Now this drill has a light, which makes it a lot easier because it illuminates your work area. All right, so this is back in place, nice and neat. Now what we need to do is we need to put this back in. So remember that? We made a little marker there. Okay. Now we put this back in. Now we don't put any screws to this because you have to put this, then put the screws. Now when you do that, this sometimes slides away and it makes it very hard to find the hole because this slides away from the hole because of the cable tension. So you want to bend the cable like that in order to reduce the tension and let it stay in place. So there you go. Now it is all still not in place, but you know, you could adjust it, do some minor adjustment with the cover on. Okay, let's make sure at least when one of them are at least in place, it's easier. There you go. So now it's in place. I'm going to make sure you see that DC jack. Let me show you from here. You see the DC jack right here? So this DC jack must match with this. Okay. Okay, so now you could also do this to make sure they catch up like that. See how I'm trying to catch it up like that, yeah? And then you can put it here, make sure it catches up. Looks like it does. Before you put all the screws, you have to make sure that they are all aligned. So I'm going to slightly twist this, just a few turns. Now I'm going to close them. Okay, so now it's time to test it. It's the moment of truth. So we will plug in our AC adapter, and when you initially put the battery, it should be green and then it should turn red, indicating that it is charging. Green, turned red. Good. Second one. Green, turned red. Third one. Green, turned red. Let's put another battery. Green, turned red. I only have two oh, there, the third battery. Green, turned red. All three slots are working simultaneously, and so the surgery was a success. Now, one more thing you need to keep in mind, that not all of these are the same voltage. This one is 15 volts DC with two lines there, but some of these are 15 volts AC, which is a bulky, it's not a small little power supply. It's a bulky transformer. You want to make sure not to switch them, because the one that's AC, it has a bridge rectifier inside, and the one that's DC, it doesn't. So if you switch them, you could damage the charger. All right. Okay. There we go. Okay. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.